The teenager transferred schools 5 years ago but has never uttered a single word. His cold and mysterious aura caught the attention of nearby gangsters. They set a challenge: whoever makes him scream will get 100 million won, but they didn't know he used to be one of South Korea's strongest assassins. So powerful that the USA ordered a worldwide manhunt for him. But because he leaked information once the girl he loved died right in front of him, the shock was so great that he erased his own memories and transferred to this remote school. But those guys kept picking fights with him again and again. The painful memories kept flooding back, awakening the bloodthirsty demon inside him over and over. The story starts with a very ordinary scene. A chubby orange cat with a silly face appears. In 2017, in a coastal town outside Gyeonggi, our main guy appeared with ocean blue messy hair. Some students by the roadside were chatting quietly, whispering about him. That guy? Yeah, why is a mushroom-headed, pimple-faced dude talking to that scowling guy? Mushroom Head with pimples said that guy just transferred to our class. But he can't talk. The scowling guy asked, "Can't talk?" Taking a sip of coffee, Mushroom Head continued, "He's not just quiet, it's like he's completely silent." The figure of the main guy walked against the sunlight, his long legs striding. Though his face wasn't visible, he looked very handsome. The scowling guy tilted his soda bottle to his lips. "That quiet?" We just casually glance with half an eye, that deep blue eye. Over there, a white car sped down the main street like a bullet. We just casually glanced with half an eye, then crossed the street like it was our own damn road. The driver, wearing glasses, panicked, swerved, and slammed the brakes sharply. What the hell was that? The driver angrily cursed loudly. "Hey, you? Do you think you have 9 lives or what? Why would you just suddenly run into the street?" The main guy, calmly, hands in pockets, turned his face. "Oh, so handsome, guys." Definitely stands out in the main street. His ocean blue hair fluttered in the wind. His lazy lips parted slightly, highlighting those captivating deep blue eyes. At the other corner, the scowling guy was stunned. Why did he do that all of a sudden? Mushroom Head quickly pointed down at the main guy's feet. "Look at his feet." The chubby orange cat was now wrapped around the main guy's leg, meowing as if apologizing for crossing the street. The scowling guy understood, so he was saving a kitten. Over there, the driver in a sharp suit got out, slammed the door, and shouted, "What's wrong with you, kid?" The chubby cat at the foot kept meowing. The driver, face twisted in anger, grabbed the handsome guy by the collar and lifted him up. "What do you want?" he yelled right in man's face, spitting like spring rain. "You planning to pull an insurance scam, huh? Think I don't know." The scowling guy on the other side was still watching eagerly, really intense. At this point, he still isn't saying anything. The Mushroom Head was coaxing the fat cat closer. "Come here, kitty. I already told you." Like just saying it would make it die. Always silent as a stone. Suddenly, a warm, sweet female voice rang out. "Sir, please wait a moment." A girl with shoulder-length coffee brown hair and a fitted uniform came running over. She hurriedly asked the blue-haired boy, "Ji-John, are you okay? What happened?" The driver quickly blamed the kid. "He suddenly ran right in front of my car, totally on purpose." The girl with shoulder-length hair softly said, "Oh, there must be a reason for that." She glanced at men. Immediately, she bowed deeply at 90 degrees. "We apologize in advance. Please forgive us this time." Not only that, her beautiful face shone with a pleading look. "Please forgive us, sir. Just this once. Ji-John isn't that kind of person." A hero can't resist a beauty. The Kia driver immediately agreed to let it slide. "All right, you guys apologized already. Be more careful next time." The Mushroom Head and the scowling guy were still eagerly watching. Oh, finally the Queen of Class S shows herself. Truly the Queen of Class S. The Mushroom Head picked up the chubby orange cat. "Same class, but it wears everyone out, right?" The little cat suddenly jumped up, scratching wildly at the Mushroom Head. "Damn, what the hell?" The Mushroom Head swore loudly. The orange cat dropped a bag by a pair of black and white sneakers. It was a girl with long black hair, stunningly beautiful, with extremely cold, pale pink eyes, kind of like Nano or someone who's obsessed with her. At the start of the year, she was sitting on the ground awkwardly, one shoe lost. Seeing the girl with the black hair, he blushed and stammered, "Ariam, good morning." Ariam looked cold and indifferent, not even bothering to glance at him, just turned and walked away. The scowling guy questioned with exclamation, "Why is she so cold?" The mushroom head's face was smeared with blood from the cat scratches, but his eyes were full of admiration. The mushroom head's face was smeared with blood from the cat scratches, but his eyes were full of admiration. That's what makes her attractive. If 5th grade has in, then our class has arium. What's so charming about the scowling guy? Clearly she's ignoring him yet. The mushroom head still grinned foolishly. That's just because she's shy. Arium's the quiet, gentle type. Scowling guy frowned. Huh? Not saying anything? So he's like that Kia guy. The mushroom head immediately butted in. Don't compare her to that dude. Arium is totally different, dummy. The scowling guy looked disappointed at his pale friend. Wipe the blood off, man. Then the whole group headed to school to be on time. At school, the whole class was noisy like a broken market. Ji-John just stayed silent, eyes closed, the voices around him piercing his ears. Yen-Ah happily leaned over to a girl with a ponytail. Meditating again today. Looks like a magazine cover. You moved here a month ago and you meditate every day like this? Yen-Ah leaned in, puckered her lips, and said, she showed a phone photo where Ji-John's profile looked heart-melting. Yen-Ah giggled. I took this as a souvenir, what do you think? If you don't like it, I can delete it. I helped you before, so don't be shy, you let me take it already. Thanks, he said softly. The sound of the door opening rang out, and a rough-looking gangster-type guy looking very fierce and angry as if his dad was going to kill you, stepped into the classroom. It was Tak-Shu from Class 2, everyone looked at him warily. Meanwhile, Yen-A was still chatting happily with a short-haired girl at the next desk. Send me that photo on Katalk, okay? Sure. Then the gangster walked over, slamming a bag on Men's shoulder like a clamp. Looks like the handsome guy here is having fun. Ji-John's face remained cold as ice. The guy kept provoking, Ji-John, why do all the girls stick to you? You even look more like a girl. He grabbed Ji-John's wrist and lifted it high, feeling it. Tak-Shu rubbed Ji-John's hand against his face. Totally a girl's wrist, so soft, careful, I'm in love. Now Ji-John's eyes showed a rare look of contempt. Yen-Ah stood up speaking, annoyed. Stop causing trouble, it's not fun at all. Tak-Shu then changed his tone to Ji-John. We're just teasing because you're cute, ha ha ha. Then he turned to Yen. I invited you to karaoke last night, why didn't you come? Yen-Ah replied coldly, eyes icy. I said I was tired and went to bed early, didn't you hear? Tak-Su's face turned cold and disgusting. No, but you still have to come. Your boyfriend called, I've been waiting a long time, don't stand me up today. Yen-A kept scrolling her phone. We'll see. Tak-Shu finally gave up and sat back down, putting his feet on the desk. The teacher entered, the steady sound of lectures filled the room. During gym class, the whole class played soccer noisily. Yen-Ah held a small fan, walked over to Ji-John sitting down. Oh, it's so hot. She sat next to him, waving the fan in his direction. Are you hot? Let me do this. It's super cool, right? Ji-John's face showed no expression. Then Yen-A burst out laughing. Still not saying anything. Ha ha! Tak-Su was staring at the two from the soccer field with a bullet-like gaze. An inconsiderate fat guy somehow passed the ball, badly hitting Tak-Shu in the face with a plank. His face darkened, looking really scary. My hair's ruined, Tak-Shu hissed at the fat guy. Sorry, Tak-Shu. The fat guy panicked hurriedly. I'm so sorry, I just meant to pass the ball. Tak-Su smoothed his hair, looked over at Yen-A laughing happily by Ji-John, then forced a smile. My leg keeps getting stepped on because I wasn't paying attention. At the shout, all right, echoing across the field, the scene shifted to the rooftop, bathed in sunlight. Jing was lying stretched out on a chair after lunch when suddenly the door slammed open with a bang. The fat guy from before came running in his curly hair shaved off in a strip right down the middle. Please, I already said I'm sorry, he shouted from behind. It was Tatsu and his gang chasing close behind. Tatsu held the clippers still buzzing. Come here, you bastard. I said I'd give you a nice haircut, so why you acting tough? They all laughed out loud. The fat guy was now backed into a corner. I'm begging you, I'm sorry, please let me go. Tatsu barked, shut the hell up. Come here, you want a beating to open your eyes? The fat guy's legs gave out and he dropped to his knees, holding his head out to Tatsu. That's better. Suddenly, Ji-John sat up, startling the whole gang. Tatsu turned around, still wild-eyed. What the hell? I'm creating a masterpiece here. You should appreciate it. Buzz, buzz, the Clippers whirred nonstop as curly hair fell all over the ground. Around them, the gang cheered. Heh heh heh, that's art, man. Looks way better now, don't you think? Tatsu spun the fat guy's freshly shaved head toward Ji-John. How do you like it? The bullied student's face showed clear worry. Now his head had just 2 small patches of hair left. The rest was shaved clean. He was so scared tears welled up at the corners of his eyes. Despite the mocking laughter around him, Ji-John showed no emotion, ignoring the gang's surprise as they yelled, "Hey, you're not laughing. You okay with this?" Tatsu looked burly, holding the clippers he'd just used to bully the fat kid, his face full of mockery and delight, extremely sneaky. "Don't like my masterpiece. Too picky, huh?" General Giron kept his usual expressionless face while the other guy bragged non-stop. To make a real masterpiece, you gotta have the right model. Looks matter too. Tatsu's face twisted into something inhuman. Guys like that are the worst when they get crazy mad. He threatened blue-haired Giron with a menacing look. The clippers in his hand slowly moved closer to Ji-John's shiny blue hair. Ji-John's face still showed no fear. Tatsu mocked and threatened at the same time. "Let's make a perfect masterpiece." Ji-John's serious, indifferent attitude seemed to annoy the gray-haired thug. He grew impatient, holding the clippers. His mocking smile disappeared. Instead, a madman's gaze locked onto Ji-John's face. "Don't like it. If you don't like it, say so. Speak up. I'm not making a pretty boy." The blue-haired kid calmly sat in his chair, ignoring the little punks messing around in front of him. Tatsu suddenly got unreasonable. "If you say nothing, that means you agree." The clippers turned on, slowly moving toward Ji-John's hair. He just stared at it silently. Meanwhile, Tatsu was enjoying his little game. "Heh heh heh, I'm gonna make you look better." The buzzing of the clippers became the only sound at the moment. It was rushing toward Ji-John's hair, his gaze still firm as ever. Tatsu once again proved that villains aren't just ugly, they have to be extremely ugly. His face darkened and he put on a dangerous tone. "Ji-John, watch out! Your words!" The distance between the clippers and the blue-haired guy's forehead was now just the width of a fingertip. His face didn't change at all. One could say he was stubborn to the death. His face didn't change at all. One could say he was stubborn to the death. Tatsu pressed the clippers even closer. "I'm warning you, don't cross the line." Tatsu pressed the clippers even closer. "I'm warning you, don't cross the line." Suddenly that idiot stopped. With a sly look at the blue-haired guy, he said, "This isn't good. If we mess with him, the girls will make a big fuss." With a sly look at this blue-haired guy, he said, "This isn't good. If we mess with him, the girls will make a big fuss." Then Tatsu turned his back and left with his gang. "Let's go." A guy who looked like a junkie chuckled. The chubby student who had just been bullied was kneeling on the ground using his phone inside the door. They slammed shut before leaving right in front of Giron. The chubby student who had just been bullied was kneeling on the ground using his phone inside the door. They slammed shut before leaving right in front of Giron. Next to him was the pile of hair the thugs had just shaved off. He took his phone to take a picture of his new haircut, the one the thugs had just shaved off. Looking at the phone screen, he was extremely shocked and angry. "Gotta leave evidence! If those bastards are gonna cut it, just cut it all off." Suddenly, he noticed Ji-John standing behind him, glanced over as he stood up, looked at the blue-haired guy and asked curiously, "Hey, Ji-John, why aren't you laughing?" "Actually, I don't care if you laugh or not." Ji-John's face stayed the same as before, handsome and expressionless. The chubby kid kept talking to Ji-John even though he didn't get a response, just like "I thought you don't mess with the others." He turned and left, not forgetting to thank Ji-John for not laughing at him earlier. Then he turned and left, not forgetting to thank Ji-John for not laughing at him earlier. "If it were me, I would have laughed my head off." "Thanks, Ji-John." The school sky was darkened by heavy black clouds, rain pouring nonstop. Students were scrambling to open their umbrellas and head home. "After school, what's going on? Why did it suddenly start raining? I didn't bring an umbrella. This sucks." "Use mine." 2 students, maybe because neither had an umbrella, were running under the rain holding their heads. From above, among a sea of umbrellas, Ariam was also holding one, looking at something. Her gaze was distant, a bit sad. It turned out she was looking toward Ji-John, who was calmly walking with his hands in his pockets. Backpack on, casually walking in the rain, still handsome and cold to the point of being scary. While Ariam looked at Ji-John, a voice called out, "Hey, Ji-John!" Along with another black-haired kid, suddenly someone appeared with an umbrella to shield the blue-haired guy and said that Taksu wanted to see him. "Taksu wants to see you come with us." The rain grew heavier, the sky blackened as if signaling something about to happen. At the foot of a building under construction or abandoned stood Taksu and his gang with no umbrellas or raincoats. Each of their faces looked extremely serious. Taksu, with an inhuman expression, spoke when he saw Ji-John approaching. "The hot boy face has arrived, still handsome even in the rain." Jenna was standing there suddenly shouting angrily when she saw the blue-haired guy being brought before Taksu. "Cut it out. Why are you bringing Ji-John here?" Ji-John stood in front of that thug. He kept mocking, squatting, and tapping his phone. "Why get so worked up? I just want to confirm something." Taksu threw his phone, its screen bright, onto the rain-soaked ground. "Hey, Ji-John, what do you see?" The phone screen showed a flawless picture of Jason's face. Maybe this was the cause of this meeting between him and Jason. "Why is your face the lock screen wallpaper?" In the rain, the blue-haired guy remained silent and calm. It was hard to tell when his expression changed. Taksu's face started to look dangerous, his eyes like they wanted to devour the other person alive. "I don't know if I'm being petty, but I really don't get this. I don't know if I'm being petty, but I really don't get this." Yana suddenly shouted angrily. "Explain! I said there's no meaning behind it. I just use it because it looks good overall. I said there's no meaning behind it. I just use it because it looks good overall." Taksu's glare gave everyone goosebumps because the murderous aura it gave off was so sharp. "Looks good overall, that's all you meant." Over here under the rain, Yan-A hurriedly told Ji-John to leave. "Ji-John, go quickly. This has nothing to do with you. See you at school tomorrow." Standing next to the blue-haired kid, Yan-A became strangely gentle. She smiled softly. "Go, hurry up." But behind Yan-A, Taksu's gang started provoking. She smiled softly. "Go, hurry up." But behind Yan-A, Taksu's gang started provoking. Yan-A's expression gradually changed. "Do you know all the girls are now on that guy's side, and some are even openly flirting with him?" Hearing that, she suddenly turned around and angrily cursed at Taksu. "Get lost, you loser! Don't you dare cross the line!" Unexpectedly, right after she finished speaking, that bastard Taksu slapped her so hard it was like he knocked her into another life. That bastard's eyes were truly furious. The slap was so strong that blood appeared at the corner of her mouth and cheek. She gradually fell down in front of Ji-John, blood splattering a little on his face. His eyes seemed to flicker with emotion. Ji-John's gaze grew extremely determined. Taksu still stood there, cursing after just slapping Yen, hard enough to knock her to the ground. "You bitch! You're siding with that guy right in front of your boyfriend!" Then he shifted his gaze to Ji-John's stern face, looking at Yan-A's bleeding mouth, and sneered mockingly. "That girl must like you a lot, huh? You know that, right?" Yan-A sat there dazed in the rain after receiving Taksu's slap. He spoke to the blue-haired kid and didn't forget to drag Yan-A into it. "And you like him too, don't you?" "Yan-A is pretty even if she's a little hot-headed." "Yan-A is pretty even if she's a little hot-headed." Taksu put on a dangerous and sneaky face and spoke to Ji-John like a crazy, escaped lunatic. "Just admit it. I'll give her to you. You can even date her. You damn blue-haired brat." His face remained emotionless, ignoring the rain and the guy rambling on. "You better not go after her, right? Say it!" Yan-A's face was bowed down, sitting on the ground in the rain. She frowned and cursed the thug who just hit her boyfriend. What kind of person throws parties with other girls and then brags about it on social media and calls himself a boyfriend? That bastard turned back and cursed Dong, still angry at being provoked. "I already apologized, didn't I? I already apologized, damn it, my brothers forced me to go. I already apologized, didn't I? Damn it, my brothers forced me to go. Damn it, my brothers forced me to go. I already apologized, didn't I? Damn it, my brothers forced me to go. How could I run away? Yen." A looked up at Taksu, her face angry and frustrated to the point of tears. "You don't deserve to be my boyfriend. It's over." That bastard Taksu heard this and kicked her hard in the stomach again. The kick was so strong it emitted a red glow. Yen-A's body flew back from the force of his kick. As he kicked, he hissed, "Shut the hell up." Seeing this, Jason's eyes widened. He seemed angry at the actions of this monster disguised as a man toward a woman. "Hey." Yen-A was lying on the ground but still trying to push herself up. She groaned in pain in front of the blue-haired guy. "Ah." At this moment, blood was smeared all over the corner of her mouth. Tears welled up in Yen-A's eyes. Angrily trembling, she said, "You're really finished now." "I'm such a fool, you." Taksu grabbed her collar and lifted her whole body up. Fuming, he cursed, "You bitch, who gave you the right to finish this? You think I'll just let you get away with this?" Even though she was scared, Yen-A still defiantly challenged the beast in front of her. "That's right. Hit me. Hit me again." That bastard swung his arm again, about to hit Yen-A. It seemed like if no one stopped him, he would land the blow straight on her beautiful face. Her face still carried defiance and anger at that moment. Taksu shouted loudly, "Let's settle this today. Damn it, I'm going to smash you to pieces." Suddenly, an arm hooked onto his arm, blocking that punch. Taksu was extremely surprised. Someone was using their arm to absorb the force and stop him. Looking down, it was Jijon holding back Taksu's punch with his arm. Taksu looked at him unbelievingly. Jijon's eyes remained cold and sharp as ever. Taksu stopped, asked suspiciously, "Don't tell me you actually like that girl." Taksu went mad. He threw an extremely strong punch with all his anger. He yelled at Jijon, "I warned you! I told you not to cross the line, you arrogant bastard!" The punch flew straight into the blue-haired kid's face. It looked pretty painful because it was so strong. The purple glow from the punch still lingered on Jijon's face. It seemed Jijon was completely knocked down by Taksu's hit. His face showed clear pain and shock from that punch. "You're nowhere near my level." Suddenly, a blonde woman's voice called out, "You're nowhere near my level." Suddenly, a blonde woman called out, "Jiron, wake up, come to your senses." Jiron returned to the rainy day scene from before. His eyes flashed a bright red light. Jiron used his leg to block the force from that punch. His mouth was stained with blood. This time it was his own blood, not someone else's. After taking that hit, he stood firmly on the ground. After that hit, he was steady on his feet. Taksu looked like a beast possessed. His eyes glowed purple with rage, fiercely focused on John. The punch seemed just as strong as the previous one. "Damn it, you took that and still stand. Damn it, you took that and still stand. Now I won't hold back." His punch landed right in the middle of John's chest. The purple light radiated from it. John gritted his teeth clearly in pain from that hit. Suddenly his body acted strangely. His eyes still held two red glows. He returned fire at that bastard, starting with the sharp glare he gave right after being hit. That look was powerful, heavy, and deadly, making even Taksu wary. "What the hell is this guy?" Taksu prepared to throw another punch. He shouted and quickly swung his fist toward Jiren. "Die, you bastard!" Jiren suddenly dodged. At this point, the background music automatically kicked in. The hero's aura surged. His eyes remained sharp. He punched straight into that bastard's mouth, causing him to open wide like a profile picture. The punch seemed very strong, making Taksu reel. It was terrifying. Then he collapsed onto the rain-soaked ground. Blood sprayed from his mouth as he hit the ground face first. He looked very satisfied. His lackeys were also extremely shocked. They all shouted in unison, "What the hell was that?" Taksu sat stunned on the ground, staring at Jiron standing there. Jiron Taksu lay sprawled on the ground, confused and in pain. Blood sprayed from his mouth as he muttered, "Damn it, what the hell happened?" Before the thug could recover, John launched a super strong kick at him. It was as graceful as a swan spreading its wings, but extremely powerful. Taksu's lackeys saw this and angrily shouted, "That guy's provoking us." The black-haired guy rushed forward but got punched straight in the mouth, stunned. The blonde tried to punch, but Jiron dodged easily and countered. From below, a very determined face suddenly grabbed a metal rod from the ground. "Damn it!" The black-haired guy rushed at Jiron, trying to sneak attack him with the metal rod he just grabbed. But Jiron was much faster. He turned his face around, his eyes still glowing red, signaling the prey was about to get beaten. Suddenly, Jiron swung his leg and kicked the would-be attacker right in the face. The attacker couldn't do anything and collapsed to the ground, crying out in pain. At the same time, from afar, Seung-min was startled to see the confused and scared look on his face, seeing the current situation. Taksu lay on the ground, trembling and struggling, saying, John, what the hell are you?" Meanwhile, John stood proudly in front of that beast, his expression still cold and indifferent like at the start. Taksu panicked. "Who are you?" Not bothering to answer the foul-mouthed guy, he bent down and slammed his head down with another super strong hit. This time, Taksu's safety was truly in question. He coughed up blood in pain, his eyes half closed. Meanwhile, on the ground, Jiren was sitting on that bastard, punching him continuously. That guy's blood had already stained a large part of the yard red. Yenna rushed over in panic to stop him. Stop it! Gyron stopped hitting that bastard. It was still pouring rain, and a loud lightning bolt struck down. At the same time, Jijong stood up, his eyes blank as he looked down at the person covered in blood in the pouring rain. The heavy breathing of that guy was still clearly audible. Jijong's face darkened, his eyes still filled with deadly intent. Yen quietly called his name as he put his backpack back on and prepared to leave. The scene was truly miserable, especially for Taksu's people. Shungmin curled up in the corner, stunned by what was in front of him. This crazy guy. Yen hugged her arms anxiously and asked him, "What the hell is going on?" Some had already sensed what was hidden behind Jay's silence. John was like a deep, heavy shadow. John walked in the downpour, leaving the place. An explanation. The rain poured like buckets, mixed with the sound of people calling out to each other. John, while Ariam was holding an umbrella, caught a faint sound of someone calling Jay. She immediately turned her head back. The calling continued. Taksu was calling to him. "Follow me." She glanced and saw a figure rushing the other way, panting. While running, he shouted, "What did you do to make Taksu furious?" He really looked angry. She saw two people in school uniforms, each standing on either side. John put his hand on his shoulder, one of them holding an umbrella. All three of them, while the other continued, "You better apologize right now, that's the only way to survive. This looks really serious." The rain kept pounding on the umbrella. Ariel didn't care much, her eyes kept following those three. She turned away, silently pondering something, then clenched the umbrella handle tightly, determined to act. Done, she quickly followed after the three. Raindrops splashed behind her with every step. She hurried through the bustling crowd on the street, then quickly hid beside a house. She peeked out, her eyes full of curiosity. No, if she didn't look, it would be nothing, but once she did, her eyes widened in horror. Jijong was fighting Taksu barehanded. He just punched Taksu in the face, blood splattering everywhere. Only Taksu screamed in pain. Jijong remained calm, as if nothing happened. He just gritted his teeth while a red flash gleamed in his eyes, looking like a superhero with electric glowing eyes. Maybe he has some kind of supernatural power. He stared at him with those power-filled eyes, lips tightly pressed while his hands formed fists. His eyes locked on the target straight ahead now, Jay. John landed another punch on Taksu from below, throwing him off balance. His head tilted back and blood sprayed from his mouth again. His whole being exuded a cold breath, completely emotionless. Now Ariam witnessed all of John's actions. John just kept punching relentlessly, hitting the taxi guys one after another, collapsing. One of them couldn't take it and begged, Hey, please stop." She probably stood there stunned for a long while under the dim streetlight, silent and alone. There was the sound of footsteps gradually approaching. Now it was John. John hunched over, put on his backpack, his tall, thin silhouette appearing in the rain, raindrops falling down his back one by one. Suddenly he leaned his hand against the wall. His face and upper body appeared behind the house wall. Blood still smeared on his face and shirt, the stains looking like bright red flowers on a white background. He saw someone wearing a schoolgirl uniform holding an umbrella that covered her face silently, standing right there. He slightly tilted his head to look at her, raising his umbrella a little, catching her amber eyes as they glanced at him. She said nothing, just silently lowered her gaze to the street, her hand holding the umbrella, trembling slightly. That same trembling hand, but now filled with a strong courage that urged her to raise the umbrella higher and shield him from the rain. She lifted her amber eyes to look at him. They both stood like that in the rain, silent, neither speaking a word. His body seemed to have returned to normal, no trace of the supernatural power in his eyes anymore. He glanced at her briefly, then immediately turned and walked away, leaving her still stunned, holding the umbrella for both of them. She watched his back disappear into the rain, dazed. His lonely and isolated silhouette. She pulled the umbrella closer to shield herself, still staring at him with sad eyes. The next day, the sky was completely clear. The rain had stopped, but the leaves around the school still dripped water drop by drop. In class, some students sat perched on their desks, chatting in small groups. One of them looked toward Taksu's usual seat and asked in surprise, "Isn't Taksu and the others coming today?" A guy sitting nearby replied, "They're probably just hanging out somewhere, not the first time." Meanwhile, the girls had a similar question. One girl looked at John's seat and asked, "What happened? Where's John?" The black-haired girl propped her chin, looking bored, whispered, "It feels so empty without John, doesn't it?" His left cheek was calmly wrapped with a bandage. She looked back at the empty desk, deep in thought, her face full of worry. Under a bridge, 4 people appeared. One person sat comfortably in the shadows while the other 3 stood facing him. One of the 3 was still a high school student. A high-powered motorcycle was parked right behind the 3, showing the seated guy wasn't poor. He was definitely a notorious rich player. You could tell by the bike alone. He sat leisurely speaking. "I don't know what to say. Just a few days ago I was out drinking happily with Taksu, and now you're telling me he's in the hospital." Hai found it unbelievable. One of the 3 was Seung Min, along with 2 of his subordinates. Seung Min looked more timid and scared. He listened as the other spoke, asking about Taksu's condition. "How is he now?" Seung Min lowered his head to answer, not daring to look straight, his face broken. Said he had to stay in the hospital for a while. He said not to visit because he was embarrassed. The guy revealed himself with medium-length hair, neither long nor short. His ears were pierced with 3 rings from the helix down to the earlobe. The earrings were long and sharply pointed. Hearing Seung Min talk about Taksu's condition, he asked, "How many people got beaten?" Seung Min scratched his head nervously and answered, 4. Oh, this guy was still a student at Daesun Industrial High School. His name was Kang Doi, and he was pretty handsome. He wore earrings on both ears, not only earrings, but also a lower lip ring, with chains and rings on his neck and hands, plus bracelets. He asked Seung Min again, "Where's Taksu?" Definitely not weak. He was truly both cool and wealthy. He asked Seung Min again, "Where's Taksu?" Not weak at all. So who was the one who did this? Seung Min kept his head down and answered a mysterious guy named Ji Jong, a transfer student who was quiet and unknown to everyone. Kang Doi looked at him sharply, unbelieving. "You say 4 people lost to some nobody? That's embarrassing." Suddenly, Seung Min was grabbed tightly by the neck by a burly, strong guy. He looked miserable, like an ant fighting an elephant. The burly guy angrily questioned Min. "Then why are you fine hiding like a rat?" He trembled, scared, gasping as he explained, "It's not like that." His voice like he was out of breath. "I just thought 5 against 1 was unfair, so I didn't join. It seemed too harsh." As soon as he finished, the burly guy threw him far away. He threw him gently, as if he was tossing an object. His back hit the bridge's leg. The burly guy cursed. "Damn it!" Kang Doi tilted his head, looking at him. There was no emotion on his face seeing him get beaten like that. He asked again, "So where did that guy transfer from?" Seung Min rubbed his neck where the burly guy had grabbed. He caught his breath and answered honestly, "I don't know. No one knows. He never says a word, like he's mute." The burly guy struck again mercilessly. From behind, he slapped the guy hard on the head and growled fiercely, "Completely useless." The guy quickly said sorry. The fat guy glared at him, his face hardening. "What does he look like? Can you recognize him right away?" Seung Min rubbed the spot where the fat guy had just hit him. Thinking it over, he muttered. Though he didn't want to admit it, the guy was so handsome that even the girls noticed. He looked like a model, kind of like a rich kid, too. He remembered Ji Jong's blue eyes and made a very reasonable comment. "He's got a strange kind of charisma." The fat guy's second powerful slap landed on his head again. This fat guy seemed to prefer using violence over words. "You're into him, huh, you crazy? What's your relationship with him?" The guy lay flat on the ground but still tried to answer, "No, I'm just telling the truth." His eyes widened and slanted his mouth, showing an excited smile like he hadn't seen anything interesting in a long time. He stroked his chin and muttered, "A mysterious quiet transfer student named Ji Jong." He smiled, looking charismatic and also knowing how to fight like a rare find. Suddenly he laughed happily, his face showing a terrifying, bloodthirsty craving. "I want him, damn it." The next day, under a clear blue sky, it was a beautiful day. Ji Young wore his backpack and arrived at the school gate. Students were bustling through the school gate as well. Above the school gate hung a banner stretched from one pillar to the other with the words, "Let's build a school without violence together, Student Council." He walked over to the locker to find his compartment. Nearby, Seung Min was sneaking a peek at Ji Jong. He saw Ji Jong opening his locker. Why would a coward like him have to do this sneaky spying thing? Because he remembered yesterday Kang Doi ordered him to investigate Ji Jong's background. He was startled and panicked. Why him? Kang Doi's fierce face and his eyes that looked like they wanted to devour him were magnified right in front of him, making him scared. "Don't you want to—" he stammered. No, I actually really want to. I'll do it. He leaned against the locker, crocodile tears streaming down his face, like a river, blaming himself. Why do I have to do this, my luck? Ji-jong's hand touched the locker latch, his eyes suddenly surprised by something unusual inside. Besides the slippers for class, there was also a cell phone. Suddenly, the phone vibrated in bursts, notifying its owner that a message had arrived. He suddenly froze, wondering where this thing had come from. He stared at it, then picked up the phone. You stared at it, then you picked up that phone. The voicemail box showed the messages. You tapped to check, "Congratulations, you've received a free phone." The third message appeared. You tapped to check, "Congratulations, you've received a free phone." The third message appeared. Even though it's an old phone, it still works. The fourth message came in. We will listen to all your concerns. You saw the fifth message arrive and quickly replied. You quickly turned to your left to look for someone or something unusual. Usually, the phone in your hand would be brightly lit. Your face tightened with fear as you pressed your back against the locker. Have you been discovered? You turned your face to the other side, searching again. Right there through the glass stood a girl in a uniform. The girl was also holding a phone. She looked nervous too, pressed close to the wall to avoid being seen. Although you hadn't seen much, she hid too quickly. You focused on the phone once more. Her face blushed, soft pink lips slightly parted, her hands gripping a pink phone tightly. Yu Sung-min looked stunned. You were standing on tiptoe, placing something on top of the locker. What's he doing? Yu Sung-min looked stunned. You were standing on tiptoe, placing something on top of the locker. What's he doing? The phone was precariously set on top of the locker, then you left. Sung-min curious. You moved quickly like a cat just 2 steps away from where Ji-jong was standing earlier. Sung-min curious. You moved quickly like a cat just 2 steps away from where Ji-jong was standing earlier. You glanced at the item Ji-jong had left. A phone. You picked it up to examine and muttered, "This phone's too old. Maybe it was thrown away and it's not even locked." Suddenly, a strong force hit your back, making you jump. A phone. You picked it up to examine and muttered, "This phone's too old. Maybe it was thrown away and it's not even locked." Suddenly, a strong force hit your back, making you jump. Acting on momentum, your whole body fell toward the locker. Your face struck the locker door hard and the phone flew out of your hand. You yelled in pain. Then a slender hand with long fingers caught the phone perfectly. After grabbing what she wanted, she quickly ran off, leaving Seung-min sitting on the floor, holding his face in pain. You shouted loudly, "What the heck?" Then you saw a figure rushing away. You yelled, "Give it back! Hey, stop! What's wrong with you?" Sung-min stood dazed, his face red from the pain. "Dude, what the hell just happened? Then you grabbed your head in frustration, mad at yourself. Lately, things have really been unlucky. A D-yen. A and the girl with black hair were walking together down the school hallway. Lately, things have really been unlucky. A D-yen. A and the girl with black hair were walking together down the school hallway. Both were carrying some paper rolls. The black-haired girl was telling her story. "My aunt just got a new puppy, it's super cute." And Yen A stared blankly ahead while her friend kept talking. "I want to adopt one, but my dad won't let me." The black-haired girl looked unhappy. Both were carrying some paper rolls. The black-haired girl was telling her story. "My aunt just got a new puppy. It's super cute." And Yen A stared blankly ahead while her friend kept talking. "I want to adopt one, but my dad won't let me." The black-haired girl looked unhappy. The girl looked stunned and called out, "Yenna, are you even listening to me?" The girl looked stunned and called out, Are you even listening to me?" "Spacey again." Yen A, embarrassed, replied, "No, I'm listening." She was a bit shy, but still avoided looking directly at her friend who kept complaining about her recent behavior. "Stop lying. You're thinking about reason again, aren't you? Spacey again. Yen A, embarrassed, replied, No, I'm listening. She was a bit shy, but still avoided looking directly at her friend who kept complaining about her recent behavior. Stop lying. You're thinking about reason again, aren't you? Worried he won't come today again. Yen A denied, No, I don't think so. Suddenly, the black-haired girl's eyes lit up excitedly. Ah, it's Jijong. Meanwhile, Yen A frowned. Stop teasing me. Suddenly, Yen A's eyes caught something. Worried he won't come today again. Yen A denied, No, I don't think so. Suddenly, the black-haired girl's eyes lit up excitedly. Ah, it's Jijong. Meanwhile, Yen A frowned. Stop teasing me. Suddenly, Yen A's eyes caught something. The person before her was Jijong with a cold, emotionless face. The person before her was Jijong with a cold, emotionless face. He was walking toward them. His eyes met Yen A's, and she was shocked and stunned to see him. He was walking toward them. His eyes met Yen A's, and she was shocked and stunned to see him. Yen A's face suddenly lit up with excitement as tears welled up and started to fall. Yen A's face suddenly lit up, tears started to well up unexpectedly. Her small lips parted as if she wanted to say something. Hey, Yen. Quickly handed over all the rolls of paper she was holding to her black-haired friend. Yuri, hold these for me for a moment. Yuri was also surprised and confused. Theo Yen A hurriedly walked over to John, who was slowly walking in this direction. Yuri called out, Theo, your eyes are only on John. Right there in the hallway where the two were walking, Jijong stopped and Yen A ran up. He stayed calm, hands in his pockets, as Yen A suddenly rushed over from a distance and hugged his neck tightly. The group of students around them, and even Yuri, were surprised by Yen A's intimate gesture. Yuri's face flushed red. Yen A was trembling, tears still clinging to the corners of her eyes. She worriedly said, Jijong, I'm really worried about you. Are you okay? Yen A's eyes opened wide, her voice full of determination. You saved me, Jijong. I will never forget that. She looked off into the distance. He remained calm as if Yen A wasn't even there. He didn't show any reaction to the person in front of him saying, Thank you. Seung-min frowned, jealous of him, sticking his head out somewhere, mumbling, Girls are really crazy about him, so jealous. He aggressively tapped on his phone, thinking to add this to his notes. His fingers trembled. He looked at his phone notes about Jijong's profile, often late to school, most girls like him. He still said nothing, just thinking, Is that enough? In the afternoon, by the riverside outskirts, Jijong's hands stayed casually in his pockets. He was walking down the street, surrounded by the lively chatter of people around him. However, he didn't pay any attention at all. See you later. Want to go to the internet cafe? See you later. Want to go to the internet cafe? Forget it. I have to go to extra classes. He just passed an alley where a guy was smoking, wearing a black mask pulled down low over his face. He was sitting on a yellow high-powered motorcycle, and just by the bike you could tell he was a henchman of Kang Doi. He was sitting there waiting to block Jijong. He stared at Jijong as he walked by with an admiring look. I thought so too, seriously, you can tell right away that guy really stands out. After saying that, he tossed the cigarette and whistled, signaling Cho, another henchman, a bald guy wearing glasses who heard the signal. The bald guy looked up from his phone and glanced toward him. He climbed onto his bike, revved the engine, and sped off. Both the yellow and green high-powered motorcycles raced toward Jijong, who was walking ahead. Then both bikes circled around Jijong. He calmly glanced at the two of them for a moment. Showing off, both stopped their bikes. The screeching sound of tires rang sharply, piercing the ears. Both stopped their bikes, one in front, one behind. Jijong, the leader, questioned Jae-john. He squinted and glanced at him, still asking, You're Jae-john, right? Jae. John pressed his lips together, his eyes drooping, a cold look rising. That guy smirked. You're quiet, so I already know. Jae. John kept looking at him. The guy continued, Get on the bike, we're here to pick you up. Kang Doi's face was wicked and dangerous, holding a baseball bat resting on his shoulder. He seemed like a rebellious and arrogant student. With piercings on his ears and lips, his eyes looked vicious, like he could do anything in the world if he wanted. Someone was talking about him. Have you heard about Kang Doi from Daesun Industrial School? A black-haired, goofy student was telling Jae-john about Kang Doi's glorious achievements, a legend. Just in his second year, he climbed into the top 3 of the school. In Ha-Sung City, no one didn't know Kang Doi. The black-haired guy's face turned more menacing, and of course, he wasn't handsome. He spoke harshly to Jae-john. Our school's nothing like your Dong 2 school, it's full of losers. As usual, Jae-john looked at him without any emotion. Kang Doi wants to meet you, so get on the bike. The black-haired guy climbed onto the bike, encouraging Jae-john to face the devil. Don't be scared, it's not like you're gonna die, it's just an invitation. Nearby, a bald guy with glasses seemed impatient with the blue-haired guy. Are you deaf? I said get on the bike. Suddenly, he rushed over and grabbed Jae-john's backpack from behind. Jae-john turned to look. Right after the guy with glasses, still unaware of who Jae-john really was, continued threatening, You're stubborn, you want your leg broken before you get on. But Jae-john's eyes remained emotionless, slightly contemptuous of the punk, while the guy kept babbling, still trying to be polite, telling him to get on the bike. Pushed to the limit, the idiot jerk pulled Jae-john's backpack backward. Both of Jae-john's hands were pulled back as well. Ignoring the fools messing around, Jae-john grabbed his backpack and calmly walked away. The two guys were shocked, stopping their bikes in the middle of the street. The backpack was in the glasses guy's hand. They yelled, "Bastard!" He started getting angry, throwing Jae-john's backpack hard on the ground, still shouting, "Damn it, talking nicely doesn't work." They revved their engines and charged toward Jae-john to catch him. The two punks were furious after getting a face full of avocado. "Today we'll catch him, damn you blue hair, you're done for." Jerome silently turned into a nearby alley. He looked back at the two clowns behind tires screeching loudly on the road. You could see their strong effort and eagerness to catch the blue-haired guy. Just wait till I catch you. But luck wasn't on their side. Because they were going too fast, they couldn't brake in time. The glasses guy crashed hard into a nearby wall. The strong impact made him curse like crazy. He saw his friend was all talk and no use. The black-haired guy sped ahead, aiming to catch Jae-john himself. His face was angry as he gunned the engine. "Get lost!" When he saw Jae-john, he had already climbed about 20 steps of stairs. Jae-john's demeanor showed no panic at all. It seemed like his emotional nerves were cut off from birth. The black-haired guy's bike headlights stubbornly tried to chase him. The black-haired guy stubbornly wanted to chase after him. He didn't hesitate to drive the car up the stairs. It seemed like he had experience from previous times doing wheelies with his gang, so he easily maintained balance on the motorcycle that was perpendicular to the ground. He wildly charged towards Jason. The bike was almost bouncing up the stairs, finally coming to a stop. "Give it to me." Jason, standing next to a pile of trash, turned around to see what he was up to. Suddenly, he kicked the trash bag next to him up with his foot. It seemed everyone could guess what he was about to do. At the moment the black-haired guy least expected it, the trash bag flew towards him, giving him a light kiss on the face. 1 second before the disaster, his face was agape in surprise. The trash bag hit his face hard, forcing him to throw his head back, opening his mouth wide. When his buddy approached the bike and the trash bag were both in the air, each in their own place. His face was clearly in pain, while the other guy was in shock, unable to believe his own eyes. The black-haired guy instinctively fell towards the other guy, causing him to take a hit from his thigh to the head. Unable to brace himself, his face was a mix of surprise, pain, and confusion. The two of them rolled down the stairs together in agony, entangled with each other. The bike followed behind, crashing to the ground in a shocking and surprising manner for the black-haired guy. He let out a startled scream. When the two had regained their senses, scratched all over the guy with glasses, asked his teammate with concern, "Hey, are you okay?" The black-haired guy still focused on the original goal, grabbing that jerk. They quickly chased after him. "Damn it, where did he run off to?" Suddenly, the bald guy with glasses spotted him standing at the stairs. "Over there!" They gritted their teeth in anger, shouting, "Wait, if we catch you, it's the end for you!" But when they reached the spot where Jason had just stood, the two idiots lost sight of him again. They were frustrated, looking around. "Damn it, lost him again! What a tangled place this is!" This time, the black-haired guy spotted Jaren just coming out from a small alley and going down the stairs. "Ah, there he is!" He hurriedly grabbed the green-haired guy's shoulder from behind. "Ah, there he is!" He hurriedly grabbed the green-haired guy's shoulder from behind. "Got you now, you bastard!" Without hesitation, the black-haired guy threw a punch intending to take down Jason on the spot, even though it was just the blue-haired guy, not the real Jason. The blue-haired guy's face showed clear panic, while the fake Jason's handsome face looked at the black-haired guy with confusion. "What is this?" The guy with glasses who had been teasing only just arrived, probably not understanding what the hell was going on. Huh, what's going on? Where's Jason? The black-haired guy's face turned red with frustration when he realized he had the wrong person. Ugh, so annoying. Maybe all villains in this world are just ridiculously dumb and unreasonable. Without any logic, he punched the blue-haired guy hard in the face just because he mistook him for Jason. Where the hell did you come from, you bastard? Up above, Jason's shoe had been watching the whole scene. The blue-haired guy fell down after being punched unfairly by that crazy stranger. The two guys stood there, looked around like trash, then cursed out loud. Wait till I catch you and you'll see what happens up here. Just coldly looking down. The sunlight and deep blue sky behind him made him look incredibly cool and charismatic. His eyes still empty, staring down, hands in his pockets like nothing happened. After striking a cool pose, he turned and walked away silently. The sky was gradually turning the color of sunset. In a corner of a street, an electric pole was tangled with countless messy cables. That was where the thugs gathered, seemingly in some abandoned area. About 6 guys were there, including the 2 who had just failed their mission to catch Jaron and bring him back. Inside a gate without a door and pitch dark, the leader was complaining because Jason wasn't there. At that moment, he was talking while punishing his 2 useless subordinates leaning on the ground, groaning from exhaustion. I didn't expect him to dare refuse my invitation like that. The 2 guys who had chased Ji-young looked quite scared, sweating heavily, faces full of extreme worry. The 2 guys who had chased Ji-young looked quite scared, sweating heavily, faces full of extreme worry. They made meaningless excuses for themselves, saying, "That slippery bastard, I almost caught him." But then another fat guy shouted angrily and kicked the bald leader hard, making him yell out. They made meaningless excuses for themselves, saying, "That slippery bastard, I almost caught him." But then another fat guy shouted angrily and kicked the bald leader hard, making him yell out, "You 2 can't even catch one guy." The guy with glasses fell down from the force of the fat guy's kick. The other guy looked scared, his face a mix of pain and fear. He trembled as he tried to justify that the guy had slipped into some maze-like alleys. The fat guy shouted louder, blaming Kang Doi. Sitting there with a fierce smile, his sharp, dangerous eyes made me even more interested. The fat guy shouted louder, blaming Kang Doi. Sitting there with a fierce smile, his sharp, dangerous eyes made me even more interested. The fat guy was still very angry, looking down. Suddenly, Kang Doi noticed So-hyun Min nearby. Both of them noticed So-hyun Min nearby. "Hey, So-hyun Min, have you found out anything yet?" He heard this and looked a bit nervous and panicked. "Ah, that nerd," he stammered as he took out his phone and showed it to Kang Doi. "Well, I did some digging." Kang Doi thoughtfully read through what So-hyun had gathered about Ji-young over time. Late to school, liked by girls, but never talked to anyone. Kang Doi's gaze became sharp, full of harshness and irritation. Kang Doi's eyes sharpened with a scolding tone. "You call that investigating?" Suddenly, the fat guy was already standing right behind Seong Min. Seong Min's face hadn't even turned to panic yet. He cracked his knuckles as if ready to throw a powerful punch. "Useless piece of trash!" In the end, the number of people standing with crossed arms increased to 3. The other 2 guys looked at Seong Min with sympathy while he was pissed off, but only dared to think, "Damn it, why am I getting dragged into this?" Nearby, the 3 unlucky guys and the fat guy kept scolding the useless ones. "Do your job seriously." But Kang Doi seemed to have his own thoughts. He told the fat guy to stop punishing his inexperienced lackeys. "Let them go, but you have to take him to the back gate after school." Seong Min's face gradually turned pale and panicked when he heard that he was the one assigned the task. "You can handle that, right?" Oh, Seong Min, the fat guy, was also assigned the task along with So-hyun, walking chained. "You're responsible for dragging him here." Kang Doi's gaze turned scary with a cunning, cruel look. "You're responsible for dragging him here." Kang Doi's gaze turned scary with a cunning, cruel look. He seriously warned his underling, "Tomorrow I want to see him no matter what." The guy walking chained seemed very willing and confident he would do well. He seriously warned his underling, "Tomorrow I want to see him no matter what." The chained guy looked eager and confident. "Leave it to me." Meanwhile, Seong Min was sweating buckets, worried and panicked. "Why me? I'm not even close to him, damn it." The next day, holding a green, grape-flavored soda can, a black-haired guy styled like Dan Trong excitedly said to Seong Min when he saw him holding 2 cans, You idiot, Seung-min's so kind, even buying me a drink, huh? Seung-min angrily brushed off Dan Truong's hand, pushing him away. Who said I bought it for you? Seung-min angrily brushed off Dan Truong's hand, pushing him away. Who said I bought it for you? The two flat-hair guy asked, What's that? The two flat-hair guy asked, What's that? Who did you buy it for? Suddenly the nerd saw someone's back far away. Who did you buy it for? Suddenly the nerd saw someone's back far away. Ignoring the two flat-hair guy who felt it was unfair, stingy, it was probably Ji-jun. Ignoring the two flat-hair guy who felt it was unfair, stingy, it was probably Ji-jun. The only one with blue hair was turning his back to him. The only one with blue hair was turning his back to him. Seung-min rushed over and put his arm around Jong as if they were really close before. His face was very excited and friendly as he placed a soda can on Jong's shoulder. Jong, good morning. He started acting fake friendly, and you could tell by his slick look. Jong's expression didn't change after the nerd's invitation. You look super cool today. Drink this. Jong said nothing, just gave Seung a sharp, deadly look that silenced the nerd. Seeing that Seung-min hurried to explain to ease the tension on the blue-haired guy's face. You misunderstood. I'm not part of the Taksu gang. I just got involved by accident, so I came here. Both to thank them and to clear things up. Then Seung-min started babbling non-stop, looking really excited. Actually, that day felt really refreshing. Watching that Taksu punk get beaten and unable to say a word was like finally letting out a long-held frustration. After finishing, he offered the soda can to Ji-jong again. Hey, let's drink together. Ji-jong didn't respond but turned sharply away from Seung-min's attempt to talk. He didn't seem interested in Seung-min's silly antics. Seung-min got annoyed, thinking to himself, still holding the rejected can, this stubborn guy. So-hyun's face darkened, annoyed. He wasn't as easy to fool as I thought. Now I have to drag him to the back gate after school. The image of the fat guy walking chained with a dark, murderous face, scolding him, appeared in his mind. I can't mess this up, making him tremble. Suddenly shouting, Frog! The sky today was clear blue. The school still looked beautiful. It was the end of class, or more precisely the break time, when students got to rest and go eat lunch. They stretched, then asked each other what they'd get to eat today. Ah, I'm so hungry. Wonder what's on the menu today. Ji-yeon was still slumped on the desk, maybe asleep since class started. Ji-yeon stayed silent on the desk, surrounded by desks, chairs, and classmates' books. The space was very quiet. Suddenly, he lifted his head, woke up, and stood to go outside. From the door, the nerd Seung-min was peeking in without anyone noticing. Seung-min was a bit surprised, thinking to himself, when he saw Ji-hoon brought his own food to class. He brought food to school himself. No wonder I never saw him in the cafeteria. Jerome held a bag of food as he walked out the door, apparently towards the sports field. Sunlight flooded the courtyard. He slowly walked over to the wooden bench in front of him. There was a phone on it. The phone, which was off, suddenly lit up with a message from who knows where. Did you eat bread today? Aryam held the phone, fingers constantly typing. He felt a little hopeful that John would reply to his message. John was actually sitting on the rooftop. His phone kept buzzing with incoming messages from Aryam scrolling across the screen. He skimmed through Aryam's messages. You're eating on the rooftop, right? Actually, I often eat alone, too. I've seen you a few times up here and wanted to start a conversation with you. Just as he was focused, he suddenly heard a strange noise. He turned his head around, wondering how she knew he was here. Another message came in, even though I'm standing on the opposite side. He looked over. Sure enough, there was a hand raised like waving, but it quickly pulled back. The message continued. Sorry, I'm still not used to interacting with others. I heard you don't talk to anyone either. Honestly, me neither. He sat there, one leg propped on the chair, reading seriously. Maybe seeing no reply, the other side suddenly got flustered. Hey, why aren't you saying anything? His eyes lifted deep in thought. His fingers hovered over the message box, but hesitated, unsure what to write. From afar, a voice called out, Jae-john! He turned his head toward the voice. Whoa, what a coincidence, see you again. The rooftop door opened. Seung-min ran out excitedly. Whoa, what a coincidence, see you again. He walked up to Ji-jun holding up a snack bag and said, I just came up here to eat some bread. You're eating alone here, too. He casually sat beside John, smiling brightly. That's great. Let's eat together. You don't mind, right? John stayed silent. He didn't want to pay attention to him. They each ate their own food. The atmosphere fell silent again. Aryam, sitting over there, also turned to watch. She ate while continuing to observe the scene across. The silence was suddenly broken by Seung-min sobbing. He nibbled on the bread while sobbing, trying to hold back. Who? His whole body shook. Ji-jun looked at him confused. Seung-min kept crying, Hoo-hoo. Seung-min raised his head, tears streaming as he looked at Ji-hyun, sadly sharing. He looked at Ji-hyun with red eyes, sorrowfully sharing. He continued, still chewing on bread, tears flowing nonstop. I'm frustrated and trying to explain, so I hang out with those taxi guys. I don't want to be an outsider. Ji-jun turned away, seemingly uninterested in his story. Seung-min kept talking. He proposed, how about we, the abandoned ones, be friends with each other? Ji-jong didn't answer or even look at him. His gaze remained distant, staring into the empty space. Seung-min received no response and felt frustrated inside. Damn it, still no effect. I even tried to hold back a few tears thinking about being tricked into buying used stuff. At that moment, Ji-jong suddenly stood up. He seemed to dislike the noise and wanted to go somewhere else. Seo-hyun was surprised by his action. Seeing him walk away quickly, he panicked. After all his effort, he couldn't just let Ji-jong leave. Seo-hyun was surprised by his action. Seeing him walk away quickly, he panicked. After all his effort, he couldn't just let Ji-jong leave. Otherwise, he wouldn't know how to explain it to the others. After thinking that Seung-min rushed over, grabbed Ji-jong's arm and said hopelessly, Ji-jong, you handle this. Ji-jong looked at him suspiciously. He looked up, his eyes watering. Can we be friends? The scene suddenly became awkward. Seung-min knelt down, holding his hand tightly as if begging, please, come on. Ji-jong didn't want to pay attention, pulled his hand away and left. There was a sound of rain and the rooftop door shut. He was still kneeling there, cursing quietly. Damn it! Seung-bin's phone vibrated. He opened it and saw a message from the taxi guys. What the hell are you doing? Are you messing with me? Why don't I see that guy? His hand holding the phone trembled as he returned to the classroom. Another message popped up. I told you to lead him to the back gate. Seung-min shook, biting his fingertips, worried. What should I do now? School was about to end. The teacher stood on the podium, packing up, See you all tomorrow. The students stretched and replied in unison, Yes, sir. Before the bell rang, Seung-min dashed out of the classroom like a rocket, reassuring himself. No, there's still a chance. First I have to keep him here. After saying that, he ran off to search all the classrooms. The noisy chatter of friends saying goodbye filled the hallway. However, Ji-jong's figure was nowhere to be seen. Seung-min grew anxious. What, don't tell me he already went home? Not giving up, he tried to salvage the chance, checking every classroom, but no one was inside. He got frustrated. Ah, damn it! No one was left in the room, but looking closely at the window at the back of the class, the wind blew the curtain, fluttering. Right there, he saw Ji-jong's shadow. Seung-min was surprised. Oh, he's sitting by the window, staring thoughtfully outside. The breeze gently swept through his hair, sunlight shining on him like he was glowing. Seung-min was stunned by the scene. What's going on? Why is he standing there alone like he's shooting a commercial? Looks like he's going to walk home alone again. His phone vibrated, snapping him out of it. Another message from the taxi came in. How long do you plan to make me wait, you bastard? At that moment, he finally got worried. Remembered his mission, bit his lip, and stepped forward quietly, calling John. Hearing the call, Ji-jong turned his head to look. Seung-min stood by the door, forced a casual smile. You're still not leaving. Actually, I called my mom and told her I have a friend now. She was really happy. He continued. She even asked me to bring you home for a bit. She wants to meet you. She sells stuff at the market not far from here. After saying that, feeling guilty, he thought to himself, Mom, I'm sorry. This is the best reason I could come up with to convince him to come along. But Ji-jong just sat there unmoving. Seo-hyun's voice rang out again. Sorry, maybe I'm being a bit harsh, huh? But can you at least let her see you for a moment? After saying that, he admired his own reasoning. Surely, as a human being, when your mom is so earnest, you shouldn't refuse. Ji-jong stood there still deep in thought, not responding. Seung-min was really in a hurry now. Seeing his attitude, he got even more anxious. God, are you seriously considering this? He cursed silently at the cold-blooded guy. Hey, I can't wait any longer. Seung-min ran right up to him and pushed him, shouting urgently, Hey, just a little bit! Aren't we friends? Ji-jong didn't resist this time, letting him push him along. Seung-min stood behind him, pushing him while saying, This way. Aryam happened to walk by and looked confused at their actions. Heading toward the schoolyard, Seung-min draped his arm over Ji-jong's shoulder and suggested, Let's go out the back gate. It's faster to get to the market that way. Then he pulled him along. A hint of guilt flashed across his face. Sorry. Ji-jong was too naive to survive in this area. While pushing Ji-jong, he quickly pulled out his phone to report the news. Passing through the back gate, he received a message and smiled smugly. After waiting a long time, finally the two arrived. He blocked Jason's way, hands in his pockets standing tall. He walked past, but deliberately jabbed hard into Jason's shoulder like he wanted to pick a fight. Jason was pushed hard and lost his balance stepping back. His voice rang out, "Oh wow, it's Hwang De-shich." He turned and grabbed the strap of Jason's backpack, looking at him with fake concern. "You should be more careful. If you fall that easily..." His tone darkened and he gripped the backpack strap tighter. Hwang De-sik gave a warning look. "Then you're not worth the wait." Jason finished his sentence, grabbed the strap strongly, and threw the guy forward, pushing him back. "Nice to meet you, you bastard." Jason didn't have time to react and fell to the ground, his back hitting the floor hard. He grimaced in pain. D6 approached and said approvingly, "You don't look bad." Then he said, reaching out to grab your neck and pressing hard, "But it seems like the rumors about your abilities have been exaggerated too much. Is that all you can do?" He tried to push harder, but you suddenly lifted your leg to block him. He was surprised both of you were holding each other down, neither losing. Finding solid support, you took momentum to perform a perfect backflip in the air, escaping his grip. De-six was also caught off guard and fell backward. You landed safely on the ground, only your phone carelessly fell out of your pocket, bouncing far away just above the drain cover. You followed the phone with your eyes. Furious like a beast, Hwang De-six charged over, raising his fist and shouting, "Is that all you got?" The sudden strike, you only had time to raise both hands to block, but you were once again pushed back by his force. Thanks to that push, your foot just managed to kick the phone safely out of the drain gap. Seeing he had the upper hand, De-six advanced again, ready to strike. He confidently said, "One more punch and you're done for." By now you had stood up, your clothes smeared with dirt, and you looked at him with a cold, sharp gaze. This time you weren't going to let him get the satisfaction. Kang Doi's underling got even more excited after seeing Ji-jong dodge his attack. Considering the body proportions, you really were at a noticeable disadvantage compared to him. That's why his confidence rose even more. "You think that weak little body of yours can go up against me?" John stayed silent, dirt all over him, the breeze blowing gently, but his face showed no emotion, just a cold glare thrown at the other guy. Not far away, Seung-min hid behind a wall, biting his lip nervously. Watching the scene, he had struggled to lure you into feeling a bit guilty. "Sorry, Ji-jun. Hwang De-six will finish this quickly." Over there, the underling raised his voice, even more speaking to John. "Try blocking this one." After saying that, he swung his arm and charged. John stood still, watching the punch coming close, but his face darkened. He seemed to be thinking hard about how to block a strike from a guy nearly twice his size. He spread his legs, getting into a defensive stance. Just as the underling's fist came close, John quickly grabbed his briefcase to block. The thickness of it reduced some of the force, but because of the size difference, he was still thrown back quite a distance. Only then did he feel somewhat lucky about his move. Otherwise, the briefcase would probably have been smashed on him. The underling looked at John, struggling to get up, and sneered, "Using your bag to block now, huh?" John immediately stood up. As expected, this guy really was pretty strong. That last hit made his back start to go numb. He laughed loudly, his eyes looking at you like he wanted to eat you alive. But he didn't forget to praise your quick thinking. "You look smarter than you seem." You lifted your bag, your eyes still watching his every move. You flipped the bag upside down, dumping all the crumpled books onto the ground. Now it was the only weapon you had to defeat him. His underling charged forward confidently, saying, "That torn backpack won't save you now." He rushed at you, but you were a step faster, dodging to the side. Ji-jong bent down quickly, threading the bag's strap around his ankle as he ran. Taking advantage of his surprise, you used your full body weight to throw the underling off balance. He was caught off guard, lost his balance, and fell to the ground. His head made a loud noise as he hit the ground, scowling angrily, shouting, "You bastard!" Before he finished speaking, Ji-jong stood right there and kicked him again. But it was just a warning strike. Your foot stopped right in front of his face, making him terrified. This was even more humiliating than taking the full hit. "You jerk! Who exactly were you trying to show off to?" You stayed still, biting your lip, really wanting to bring that kick down on him. He yelled loudly, "Get up!" but then just collapsed back down. A warning strike means the real attack is coming next. You put all your strength into your leg, delivering a sharp sweep kick. Ji-John had to let this guy taste some dirt. This kick was enough to make the underling remember it forever. In the distance, Seung-min was terrified, his mouth hanging open, unable to close it, not expecting someone so big to be taken down by Ji-John. Oh man, crazy. Even the underling was staggering, dropping to his knees, his face twisted, blood streaming down, pain written all over him. He couldn't believe he got beaten like this. No, Ji-John didn't bother to look, turned his back, bent down to pick up his phone, ready to leave. Hwang De-sik was known to be arrogant. How could he stand this humiliation, especially with the boss waiting for his report? He couldn't lose. He forced himself to stand, shouting, "This isn't over, you bastard!" At this point, he could only try his hardest to charge, but before he could strike, he got kicked again. Caught off guard, you lost your balance and fell down. The phone you just picked up flew out of your hand, landing right in front of Hwang De-sik. He grabbed the phone. "Is this thing really that important to you? You seem to treasure it a lot." His face was covered in blood. He gripped the phone tightly, struggling to stand. His head was dizzy, but he felt he'd found your weak spot. "I just need to get you there. Though it's a shame I couldn't drag your nearly dead body along." He raised his hand, motioning from afar. His accomplices were waiting, revving up a vehicle. Hwang De-sik jumped in, waving the phone at you. "If you want this back, come to Secondhand Park." His eyes flashed with menace. "The welcoming party is ready for you." After saying that, his accomplice hit the gas and sped away. The alley was left with just you standing there. Seeing everything was over, Seung-min ran out looking worried. "Ji-Jun, are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere?" Seung-min said as he held your face, turning it this way and that to check. "That was a close call. But what do we do now? They took your phone." His voice was serious, mixed with fear. "They can trace all your personal info and life from that. This could get really bad." He was trying to shift Ji-John's attention to the phone. "Next time you meet my mom, it's okay. But for now, you better head to Seat Girl Park." He nervously looked at Ji-Jun, thinking to himself, "Okay, I've done 120% of my job. I don't even know if he's actually going." Oh well, quietly stepping back. But Ji-Jun stayed silent, walking toward the street heading to the park. From the start until now, he hadn't said a word, just silently dealing with everything as it came. This was beyond So-hyun's expectations. Is he really going? For a phone. The afternoon sunlight shone on his tall, thin figure, casting a long shadow on the steady path. He had arrived at the park, as the underling said. Two shadows appeared on the stairs. One leaned against the railing, smoking a cigarette. The other, hooded and covered, sat right next to him. You calmly walked up the stairs, passing by them, ignoring their contemptuous looks. After a few more steps, several more people stood in 2 rows ahead, waiting for Ji-John. They all looked rough and reckless. Each one stared at you judgmentally. You reached the highest hall, where a few resentful underlings all focused their eyes on you. At the end of the line sat a man in a chair, the one waiting for you. A voice rang out, "Good, you're here." Kang Do-yi raised an old phone in his hand. "Is this the one?" Ji-Jun didn't answer and quickly stepped forward. Ji-Jun didn't answer, stepping quickly forward. Seeing your hurry, Kang Do-yi looked intrigued. "Doesn't look important at all, huh? No contacts, no calls." His voice slowed down. "Just a few messages." Ji-Jun pretended to walk even faster, moving like he was gliding toward Kang Do-yi. At that moment, he continued speaking. "A message from a girl." He smirked slightly, looking at the phone screen. "She's the one who's been quietly watching you." You raised your head a little higher, your voice louder. "But look at how you came all the way here just to get this phone." Before the sentence ended, you were already standing right in front of him, your face expressionless. You raised your hand, maintaining silence, but your action was very decisive. Clearly, he was getting more and more surprised. This was probably the first time someone stood in front of him without any fear, demanding their stuff back without saying a word. He said in disbelief. Then Kang Do-yi's expression became more and more vivid, from surprise to ridiculousness and now curiosity. "Is she your girlfriend or just a fling?" Ji-Jun still didn't respond to him. Your hand was still raised in the air, and looking at your expressionless face, he shouted, "Now I'm really curious. I sent her a message because I was annoyed." Hearing this, your pupils flickered with a slight hesitation. He laughed fiercely. "That message will make things a lot more interesting." Just then, Ariel's phone vibrated. She took out her phone, confused as she read the message from Ji-Jun's number. "I'm freaking lonely. Let's meet up. If you come to Sakura Park, I'll be your boyfriend." The last message felt like a small spark igniting inside her. Ariel's eyes widened in surprise as she read the incoming message. If you come to Sigur Park from today, you'll be my girlfriend. Kang Do-yi was laughing with delight. If she really shows up after seeing that message, then she definitely likes you. Now Ji-jun dropped his eyes in a daze, lips pressed tightly without a word. He tilted his chin up, still wearing that satisfied smile. If she really becomes your girlfriend someday, don't forget to treat me. You turned your palm toward him like an outright command, give it to me. So he clenched his hand, holding the phone down. You want to take this? His gang members were still standing there, teeth clenched, staring at you. Among them was the guy with the bruised face from before, his face swollen but still listening carefully. He continued, it took my guys a lot of effort to lure you here. But he was still calm and leisurely, his other hand propping up his chin elegantly, his eyes full of laziness. That guy Tatsu, I guessed sooner or later he'd get beaten because of his stupid attitude. But you frowned slightly after hearing the name, and he continued, anyway, back in middle school he was in my class, you know. Since he was sitting, he looked up at you, his gaze turning cold. You came here prepared to pay the price, didn't you? You stayed silent, eyes lowered to look at him. He still spoke, you really won't say a single word. His eyes were filled with dark, cold intensity. He raised the phone up to eye level. If you manage to keep this through the fight with us, I'll give it back. His gang, numbering several dozen, stood around you, clearly enjoying the moment. Each of them showed obvious delight, rubbing their hands in different ways. He calmly said to himself, you probably don't know because you're a transfer student, but fights for rank around here are pretty intense. His eyes glanced around. He still heard him say, the moment you mess with Tatsu, you've stepped into a war. His eyes suddenly narrowed. His mouth broke into a bright smile, looking extremely pleased. He emphasized each word. Now let's see how good you really are. The red-skinned guy pressed his smiling face close to his, grinning like a dog proud to be near its owner. No more of that defeated, submissive look. This is the place for revenge. Jae-john swung his fist at him, but he dodged it. Though his body was small and slender, his moves were very fast. This time he narrowed his eyes a little more. His lips pressed tightly together, still staring intently at him. The red-skinned guy probably had an allergic reaction to his gaze, and every time he got angry he only cursed once, you bastard. He then turned fiercely to his remaining buddies. What are you waiting for? Grab him! The red-haired guy wearing a hat threw a punch. He dodged it. His hand clenched into a fist and swung right at that guy's face. The guy was surprised when he suddenly stopped. He must have been thinking about something but didn't say it. Then he heard a shout right behind him. Turning around, he saw two guys raising their fists toward him. A spark flashed in his eyes. He crossed both hands in front of his face to block the punches. He fell heavily to the ground, squinting one eye from the pain, right at the feet of another henchman. He was muscular. The thug from above bent down and threw a punch. If he didn't dodge this one, he'd definitely get hit in the face. If he didn't avoid it, he'd take the full hit to the face. He opened his eyes wide and looked at him, then raised his hand again to block the punch. He saw another guy raising his knee. He gritted his teeth. Kang, who had been watching him from the start, sat nearby. Those guys kept kicking him down, but he kept getting back up. His body was like a ball. No matter how many punches and kicks those guys threw, he kept falling and getting up again. The two sitting together whispered, why is he only defending? They saw him fall to the ground again, muttering, could it be he's not interested in the rank fight? The black-bearded guy standing nearby who had been watching spoke up. But that guy's getting beaten up badly and hasn't made a sound. Is he risking his life to stay silent? The two laughed crazily, enjoying it. He raised an eyebrow, curious. Really? I wonder what his voice sounds like. Suddenly, he yelled loudly, or rather screamed at his henchmen, whoever makes this guy yell wins. One henchman eagerly responded, really, I'll gift you a limited edition pair of Jordans. I'll give you a pair of limited edition Jordans. Another henchman excitedly replied, really? Another also happily said, awesome. So the whole group blazed forward like a roaring fire toward him. One punched, another kicked. He still only used his hands to block the blows, all aimed at his face. The two sitting outside shouted loudly, Jae-john, show us what you've got. Prove to me you're really one of a kind. The big rough guy also charged forward, but he was still outside the crowd. The two shouted loudly, get out of the way! As he got closer to him, he swung his leg high to kick his face. Where's your wild spirit now, scared, huh? He got hit by that kick. His face tilted to the side. His eyes rolled back. He fell heavily to the ground. His lip was split and blood flowed from it. He opened one eye and looked at him. Suddenly a hand grabbed a rock. Taking advantage of the moment to loot the guy, raised the rock, cursing with pleasure. "Damn it! I'm gonna make you scream." He still lay there, unmoving. He looked very calm, not worried at all, despite being threatened. "I never liked your face from the start. This fight ends here." But before the rock could hit his face, the two kicked it away. He gave that guy a sharp look. He said, "Want to die? You're playing dirty." He probably didn't just kick the rock away, but also kicked the guy's face. The guy held his face trembling, stammering to the two, "No, Suddenly he grabbed the collar of his shirt. He pulled him up. His upper body almost collapsed onto him. He stared at him, then smiled mysteriously with a sly meaning. "You like getting beaten that much? Or are you hiding something?" He leaned even closer to his face. "At this rate, there's no end in sight. Until you prove yourself." Hiding behind a tree, the red-haired, freckled guy gaped in horror. He followed them to be on guard just in case, but saw poor J. John getting beaten up badly. He gritted his teeth, his face looking dumbfounded. Just as expected, these guys were way better than the Taksu gang. He spotted a girl's figure in front of him. He wondered who she was. On this side, the phone screen lit up. He looked down his eyes, reading the incoming message, "Please let him go." Suddenly, he tilted to look over the guy's shoulder. His eyes widened in shock as he saw on the opposite side of the sun's light a girl with long hair standing there. She was holding a phone that was glowing. "Yeah, you're the girl who just sent that message." He pressed his face close to yours like he was whispering. "Your face is covered in blood. Your eyes quickly glance in that direction. Maybe now you'll have the motivation to fight your crushes here." A figure rushes past the two of them. He quickly turns and calls out, "Hey, that's enough." In the sunset light, he's holding up a glowing phone. He signals to come closer. Ariam lightly taps on the text to start typing. She's only typed I and BA so far. She's focused on the message, unaware that someone is approaching her. Her hand is grabbed tightly. Surprised, she looks up at a thug wearing a black mask. That's the guy who was standing nearby earlier talking with him about you. He says, "Oh, not bad looking, huh?" She angrily struggles to pull her hand away, but this guy is no pushover. He holds her hand tight and yells, "Where do you think you're running off to, girl? When you're the one sneaking over here hiding behind that tree." The red-haired freckled guy looks shocked. "What?" That's Ariam. He hurriedly steps out from behind the tree that's been his safe spot until now. He flusters like a scared chick, only managing to say her name, Ariam. Right as his foot steps onto the grass outside the tree's shadow, he can't step forward any further. But the thug still aggressively says to her, "You better come see your boyfriend's real face. Let's go." Seeing how fierce this guy is, Ariam can't bring himself to move forward. He hides behind the tree again, trembling, his eyes wide in shock. The thug drags her over to where Jijong and Doi are sitting. "I brought her here." He looks back at her. She trembles as she looks at him, her beautiful lips pressed tight. He recognizes her, the one who held an umbrella for him in the rain. The one whose pink hair he saw quickly disappear behind that mesh fence and who waved at him from the rooftop balcony wall. Ariam is trembling, standing there. His eyes catch the bruises on her pale wrist. His expression changes. Ariam slowly steps forward. Her hands clench tightly, trying to hold back the shaking. One gang member suddenly exclaims, "Can't believe that girl actually came." The others turn to look. Some laugh lewdly from behind. Jijong and the others mock you. Doi stomps on Jijong's back as the others laugh and mock. "You came here hoping to be his girlfriend." Before Ariam can answer, he continues, "But Jijong's pretty busy right now." Her face turns pale as she sees this scene. Doi keeps showing off relentlessly. He's a really stubborn type. Ariam's whole body trembled with every word he said. "So we're just teaching you a little lesson, got it?" She quickly grabbed her phone, wanting to send a message in the chat with Jijong. Ariam's hands trembled as she typed each word. "He's just a friend. Please let him go." Kang Doi waited a long time but didn't get a reply from Ariam. He couldn't help but wonder, why isn't this girl saying anything either? Kang Doi shouted loudly, "Hey, mute freak, tell me your name!" When Ariam was mentioned, she didn't know what to say. Her whole body shaking like a motor was attached. Only then did Kang Doi notice something was off. He gave a creepy smile, so that's how it is. A glint of amusement appeared in his eyes. "You two are exactly alike." The gangsters who heard this were surprised. "You're crazy." One didn't believe it and asked, "Neither of them talk." Another mocked, "What a silent couple." The gangsters kept insulting the dumb bookworms. He shot a warning glance at the gangsters. "I don't care who's who." He ordered them to make them talk. "If you can, I'll reward you." Doi grinned and asked, "Really? So you're including that girl too, huh?" Ji-jong lowered his head, lost in thought. Meanwhile, Kang Doi looked up at him and casually answered, "Yeah." The gangsters gathered, teasing Ariam. "If she can't talk, she can't refuse either," one of them asked with disgust. "Why didn't you pick those stars instead of that mute guy?" She saw Ariam still not moving. That guy grabbed her arm tightly. "What's your plan, Ariam?" Terrified by the sudden move, the gangster shouted, "Say something!" Another gangster moved from the front to behind Ariam. He grabbed a lock of her hair and sniffed it. His face turned into a creepy, perverted expression. "Your hair smells so good." Ji-jong had been silent from the start. His cold, chili sauce red face stared at them. He glanced sideways, calling Ji-jong. His eyes turned sinister. "So what are you gonna do now?" But John still silently bowed his head, showing no reaction to Kang Doi's words. "Just gonna keep holding on to her like that." On the other side, the shaven-headed gangster squeezed Ariam's chin tightly. "Say something." The guy next to him joined in. "Hurry up." Sung Min was hiding behind a tree. He peeked out but was too scared to come out. The guy still squeezed Ariam's face so hard she couldn't breathe. What do you plan to do with that mouth? Ignoring Ariam's pain and struggle to breathe, he shouted like a madman. The gangsters stood around watching the show, no one intending to intervene. "Make a sound, you bastard," he shouted, but Ariam still didn't speak, driving the gangster wild. "You're driving me crazy." No one noticed behind them that someone had been knocked out. As the guy fell, the shaven-headed gangster was shocked and turned around, his face filled with confusion as he hadn't been paying attention. When he wasn't paying attention, Ji-jong lunged from behind with a cold face. He clenched his fist and punched hard, spraying the guy's blood everywhere. Everyone standing there was shocked. One guy couldn't help but blurt out, "What the hell?" Without waiting long, Ji-jong turned and punched that guy right in the chin, sending him flying backward. Seeing John fight back, Kang Doi was very pleased. That's right, John's like an old mother waiting for her kid finally decided to fight. Seeing their guys knock down, the others started rushing forward. "You bastard!" But Ji-jong wasn't afraid of anyone now. He coldly looked at them, ready to fight. Ariam behind him was worried sick about Ji-jong's condition. A whole gang of thugs charged at him. One couldn't help but swear, "Damn it!" As the gang surged forward like wild beasts, Ji-jong cleverly sat down. The others lost momentum and punched at thin air. Taking advantage of their hesitation, he grabbed one guy's leg tightly. Ji-jong then used his strength to throw him hard into the others behind. Another guy recklessly charged and pushed him to the ground. "You dog!" But Ji-jong wasn't backing down. He grabbed that guy's hair and pressed his head to the ground. He aggressively wanted to punch him but suddenly paused. Ji-jong's eyes filled with hatred as he punched that guy. The gang couldn't bear to watch their guys get beaten up badly. One rushed forward to kick Ji-jong. "Damn it!" But Ji-jong dodged it. He used the same move, grabbing that guy's leg and throwing him to the ground. Doi Chick, acting like a madman, charged up. "I'm gonna kill you, damn it!" The guy struggled like a fish out of water. "Let go of me, my leg." Ji-jong, fed up with the noise, turned and kicked him to shut him up. Seeing that guy passed out, you immediately rushed toward Disik, startling him. Without making you wait long, Disik quickly snapped back to engage a little cultural exchange with Jion. The moment came, you stomped on his thigh. Using that force, you jumped up and spun around. Now Jae-john gave Disik a foot-shaped tattoo right on his face. Not stopping there, before he could recover, you added another kick to Disik's chin. Kang Doi had been watching the fight all along. "You really are a rare find." He seemed to really enjoy it. Damn it, Disik was knocked out. He screamed in pain. His trembling hand reached up like a plow. "Get off!" Using all his strength, that bastard tried to grab Jae-john to bring him down. He shouted, exposing his front line, missing a few players. "You son of a bitch!" Jae-john's face darkened. You raised both hands high. Your strange move made Disik suddenly shiver. Not letting him wait long, John slammed both elbows straight into his head. There was no stopping. You raised your hands again. Taking advantage of Disik's daze, Jaron struck hard again to Disik's face, ending the fight. By now, he couldn't resist anymore. His whole body collapsed to the ground. Some thugs in the group looked shocked at the fat guy Disik. One of them went crazy furious, wanting to step up for his friend. How dare he do that to Disik? He charged forward first, but didn't forget to call his buddies. "What are you guys just standing there for?" All of them rushed forward, yelling, "Kill him for me!" John's eyes lit up like he was awakened. You jumped up, spun around, and kicked that guy straight in the face. Kang Doi stood aside, admiring the scene. He rubbed his chin, exclaiming, "That's really beautiful." Kang Doi seemed to ask himself, "John, who the hell are you?" His eyes looked sinister, staring right at you. "You're more interesting than I imagined. Back over here." Another guy grabbed Ariam tightly to threaten Jijeon. "Get down." His arm squeezed her neck. "You damn bastard." Jijeon glanced coldly at him, but it seemed like he hadn't realized it yet. "If you don't want your girlfriend hurt, then—" John's face darkened. This action triggered long-buried memories in you. You had been threatened like this before. A woman in your memory was threatened in the same way. She panicked, calling your name John. Your eyes flashed with hatred. Jason took a step toward the guy. He trembled, seeing your fierce killing intent coming at him. "Don't come any closer." "Damn it." That guy's whole body is shaking, stepping back with every step Jason takes. "Damn it. I told you not to come near." Ariam was stunned, mouth wide open, seeing him like that. Some fool tried to take advantage and sneak up from behind. Jijeon seemed to have eyes in the back of his head. Without turning around, he gave him an elbow right to the lower back. Jijeon sped up and charged at that guy. Seeing Jijeon's seriousness, the guy shouted, stammering and unable to finish, "Don't come closer!" Jijeon ignored him and punched him straight in the face, looking extremely cool. The fool fell backwards, blood splattering everywhere. At that moment, Jijeon's face showed no mercy. He sat on top of the guy, raised his fist. "You idiot, now you know what fear is. I was wrong." But Jijeon didn't listen and gave him another solid punch. Jijeon's face turned cold. He seemed to have lost control. Kang Doi saw Jijeon wanting to keep hitting and spoke up to stop him. "Stop! That's enough!" "Jijeon, stop it." He put his hands in his pockets, acting superior. "I said stop." Seeing Jijeon ignoring him, Kang Doi pulled out his phone. "Hey, he's talking like he's knocking on a door. Take it back." Jijeon glanced at Kang Doi arrogantly and said, "You deserve to get this back." He spoke arrogantly as if he was the boss of the world. "You've crossed the line now." Kang Doi offered, "Join us." But he didn't give any chance to refuse. "I can't resist what I want, got it." Jijeon said nothing. He clenched both fists tightly and stormed forward. His fists were tight veins bulging fiercely. Kang Doi raised both hands, trying to make peace. "Hey, it's over now." But seeing Jijeon not wanting to stop, he asked irritably, "What else do you want to do?" And realizing the situation, Kang Doi couldn't help but curse. "I already said it's enough." His face showed a hint of confusion. "What does that look mean?" Before he could say more, Jijeon raised his fist and charged like a wild animal. Kang Doi sneered contemptuously. He immediately took a defensive stance. Kang Doi even pretended dodge left, dodge right. Now Jijeon didn't hesitate. He stabbed straight ahead, but unfortunately Kang Doi dodged his strike. Kang Doi immediately counterattacked. He punched Jijeon's face, twisting it painfully. Then Kang Doi punched Jijeon right in the chin, making him fall backward. Jijeon got hit, spat blood, eyes wide in disbelief. Jijeon hit the ground hard. Kang Doi walked over to his feet. "I told you." He looked down like a god. "I said stop already." He looked down like a god. "I said stop already."